सब कृष्ण के सब पाई मान। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Krishna and milk. Bedtime. Srila Prabhupada said. So we're reading from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the summary study of Srila Vyasadev's Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. We're reading from the Rasa Dance Introduction. This is chapter 29. And we're reading from page 285. First paragraph. Om Agyantimirandasya Janan Shalakaya Chakshuran Militanjina Tajmai Shri Guru Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisisa Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadha Shiva Shari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Krishna has played his flute and he's called all the Gopi girls into the forest to perform the rasa dance. But now everyone is assembled there, all the gopis have come. Now Krishna is giving some advice, some moral advice, that actually it's not very good for you to be out in the forest at night time. The only reason they were there because Krishna was calling on the flute. And their only reason for going is because they love Krishna, they want to please Krishna. So they'll do anything for Krishna. They'll transgress all the bounds of so-called morality of this world to satisfy Krishna. And these, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the way the gopis executed their Krishna consciousness can never be equaled. There never was a time where there was a better process of self-realization than that which was conceived of by the Gopi girls of Vrindavan. They just gave Krishna everything to him, everything, their very breath, their very life. So Mahaprabhu was praising this super excellent quality of the Gopis' love for Krishna. It will never be equaled, and never has been equaled. So Krishna is very giving some very free advice to the gopis who didn't want to go home, but Krishna is asking, you should go home because it's dark and it's not so good for you to be alone outside. So Krishna's given his advice, and he said, so you can, please now you can all go home. The instructions given here by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the gopis was not at all sarcastic. Such instructions should be taken very seriously by all honest women. The chastity of women is especially stressed herein by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, this principle should be followed by any serious woman who wants to be devoted or elevated to the this principle should be followed by any serious woman who wants to be elevated to a higher status of life. Krishna is the center of all affection for all living creatures. When this affection is developed for Krishna, then one surpasses all transcendental he surpasses and transcends all Vedic injunctions. This was possible for the gopis because they saw Krishna face to face. This is not possible for any woman in the conditioned state. Unfortunately, sometimes rascals following the philosophy of monism or oneness, very irresponsible, take advantage of the Rasa Leela to imitate the behavior of Krishna with the gopis. They entice many innocent women and mislead them in the name of spiritual realization. As a warning, Lord Krishna has hinted that it is not possible for the gopis, that what was possible for the gopis is not possible for ordinary women. Although a woman can be actually elevated by advancement of Krishna consciousness, she should not be enticed by the impostor who said that he is Krishna. She should concentrate her devotional activities on chanting and meditating upon Krishna as advised herein. One should not follow the men called sahajiyas, the so-called devotees who take everything very lightly. When Krishna spoke in such a discouraging way to the gopis, they became very sad, for they thought that their desire to enjoy the rasa dance with Krishna would be frustrated. Thus they became full of anxiety. Out of great sadness, the gopis began to breathe very heavily. Instead of looking at Krishna face to face, they bowed their heads and looked on the ground. And they began to draw various types of curved lines on the ground with their toes. They were shedding heavy tears, and their cosmetic decorations were being washed from their faces. The water from their eyes mixed with the kumkum on their breasts and fell on the ground. They could not say anything to Krishna, but simply stood there silently. By their silence, they had expressed that their hearts were grievously wounded. The gopis were not ordinary women. In essence, they were on an equal level with Krishna. They are his eternal associates. That is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. They are expansions of the pleasure potency of Krishna. And as his potency, they are non-different from him. Although they were depressed by the words of Krishna, they did not like to use harsh words against him. Yet they wanted to rebuke him for his unkind words, and therefore they began to speak in faltering voices. They did not like to use harsh words against Krishna because he was their dearmost, their heart and soul. The gopis had only Krishna within their hearts. They were completely surrendered and dedicated souls. Naturally, when they heard such unkind words, they tried to reply, but in attempt, torrents of tears fell from their eyes. Finally, they managed to speak. Krishna, they said, you are very cruel. You should not talk like that. We are full-fledged surrendered souls. Please accept us and don't talk to us in this cruel way. Of course, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you can do whatever you like, but it is not worthy of you, of your position, to treat us in such a way. We have come to you leaving everything behind, just to take shelter of your lotus feet. We know that you are completely independent and you can do whatever you like, but we request you, do not reject us. We are your devotees. You should accept us as Lord Narayana accepts devotees. There are many devotees of Lord Narayana who worship him for salvation, and he awards them salvation. Similarly, how can you reject us when we have no other shelter other than your lotus feet? Oh dear Krishna, they continued, you are the Supreme Instructor. There is no doubt about it. Your instructions to women to be faithful to their husbands and merciful to their children, to take care of their household affairs and to be obedient to the elderly members of the family are surely just according to the tenets of Shastra. But we know that one may perfectly observe all these instructions of the Shastras by keeping oneself under the protection of your lotus feet. Our husbands, friends, family members and children are all very dear and pleasing to us only because of your presence, for you are the super soul of all living creatures. Without your presence, one is worthless. When you leave the body, it immediately dies. When you leave the body immediately dies, and according to injunction of the Shastra, a dead body must be immediately thrown into a river or burned. Therefore, ultimately, you are the dearmost personality in this world. By placing our faith and love in your personality, we are assured of never being bereft of a husband, friends, sons and daughters. If a woman accepts you as a supreme husband, she will never be bereft of her husband, as in the bodily concept of life. If we accept you as our ultimate husband, then there is no question of being separated, divorced or widowed. You are the eternal husband, eternal son, eternal friend and eternal master. And one who enters into a relationship with you is eternally happy, since you are the teacher of all religious principles. Your lotus feet have to be worshipped first. According to the Shastras, accordingly, the Shastras state that Acharya Upasana, the worship of your lotus feet, is the first principle. Besides that, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, you are the only enjoyer, you are the only proprietor, and you are the only friend. As such, we have come to you, leaving aside all so-called friends, society, and love, and now you have become our enjoyer. So let us everlastingly be enjoyed by you. Be our proprietor, for that is your natural claim, and be our supreme friend, for you naturally are so. Let us embrace you as a supreme beloved. The gopis told the lotus-eyed Lord Krishna, please do not discourage our long-cherished desire to have you as our husband. Any intelligent man who cares for his own self-interest, reposes all of his loving spirit in you. Persons who are simply being misled by the external energy, who want to be satisfied by false concepts, try to enjoy themselves apart from you. The so-called husband, friend, son, daughter, father and mother are all simply sources of material misery. No one is made happy in this material world by having so-called father, mother, husband, son, friend, daughter. Although the father and mother are expected to protect the children, there are many children who are suffering from want of food and shelter. There are many good physicians, but when the patient dies, no physician can revive him. There are many means of protection, but when one is doomed, none of the protective measures can help. And without your protection, the so-called sources of protection simply become sources of continued distress. We therefore appeal to you, dear Lord of the Lords, please do not kill our long-cherished desires to have you as our supreme husband. Dear Krishna, as women, we are certainly satisfied when our hearts are engaged in the activities of family affairs. But our hearts have already been stolen by you. We can no longer engage them in family affairs. Besides that, although you have repeatedly asked us to return home, and that is a very appropriate instruction, unfortunately, we have been stunned here, and our legs have no power to move a step from your lotus feet. Therefore, if even at your request we return home, what shall we do there? We have lost all of our ability to act without you. Instead of engaging our hearts in family affairs as women, we have now developed a different type of lust, which is constantly blazing in our hearts. Now we request you, dear Krishna, to extinguish that fire with your beautiful smile and the transcendental vibration emanating from your lips. If you do not agree to us for this favor, we shall certainly be burned in the fire of separation. In that condition, we shall simply think of you and your beautiful features, and we will give up our bodies. In this way, we think it will be possible for us to reside at your lotus feet in the next life. Dear Krishna, if you say that if we go home, our respective husbands will satisfy the lusty flame of our desire, then we can only say that that is no longer possible. We have been given a chance to be enjoyed by you in the forest and have touched our breasts once in the past, which we accepted as a blessing, as do the goddesses of fortune, who are enjoyed in the Vaikuntha lokas. But since we have tasted this transcendental enjoyment, we are no longer interested in going to anyone but you for satisfaction of our lust. Dear Krishna, the lotus feet of the goddess of fortune are always worshipped by the demigods. Although she is always residing on the chest in Vaikuntha planets, she underwent great austerities and penances to have shelter at your lotus feet, which are always covered by tulsi leaves. Your lotus feet are the proper shelter of your servitors, and the goddess of fortune, instead of abiding on your chest, has come down to worship your lotus feet. We have now placed ourselves under the dust of your feet. Please do not reject us, for we are fully surrendered souls. Dear Krishna, you are known as Hari. You destroy the miseries of the living entities, especially of those who have left their homes and family attachment, and have completely taken to you. We have left our homes with the hope that we shall completely devote and dedicate our lives to your service. We are simply begging to be engaged as your servants. We do not wish to ask you to accept us as your wives. Simply accept us as your maidservants. Since you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and like to enjoy the Parakiya Ras, and you are famous as a transcendental woman hunter, we have come to satisfy your transcendental desire. We are also after our own satisfaction, for simply by looking at your smiling face, we have become very lusty. We have come before you decorated with ornaments and dress, but until you embrace us, all of our garments and beautiful features remain incomplete. You are the Supreme Person, and if you complete our dressing attempt as the Purusha Bhushana, or the male ornament, then all of our distress and body decorations are complete. Dear Krishna, we have simply been captivated by seeing you with tilak and with your earrings, and by seeing your beautiful face covered with scattered hair and bearing your extraordinary smile. Not only that, but we are attracted by your arms, which always give assurance to the surrendered souls. And although we are also attracted to your chest, which is always embraced by the goddess of fortune, we do not wish to take her position. We shall simply be satisfied by being your maidservants. If you accuse us, however, of encouraging prostitution, then we can only ask, where is that woman within the three worlds who is not captivated by your beauty and the rhythm of your songs, vibrated by your transcendental flute? Within the three worlds, there is no distinction between man and woman in relation to you, because both men and women belong to the marginal energy or prakriti. No one is actually the enjoyer or male. Everyone is meant to be enjoyed by you. There is no woman in these three worlds who cannot but deviate from her path of chastity once she is attracted to you, because your beauty is so sublime that not only men and women, but also the cows, birds, beasts, and even the trees, fruits and flowers, everyone and everything becomes enchanted. And what to speak of ourselves? It is, however, definitely decided that as the Lord Vishnu is always protecting the demigods from the onslaught of the demons, so you also have invented in Vrindavan just to give the residents protection from all kinds of distress. Our dear friend of the distressed, kindly place your hand on our burning breasts as well as on our heads, because we have surrendered unto you as your eternal maidservants. If you think, however, that your lotus palm might be burned to ashes if placed on our burning breasts, let us assure you that your palms will feel pleasure instead of pain, as the lotus flower, although very delicate and soft, enjoys the scorching heat of the sun. Upon hearing the anxious pleas of the gopis, the Supreme Personality of Godhead smiled, and being very kind upon the gopis, the Lord, although self-sufficient, began to embrace them and kiss them as they desired. when Krishna, smiling, looked at the faces of the gopis, and the beauty of their faces became 100 times more enhanced. And when he was enjoying them in their midst, he appeared just like the full moon, surrounded by millions of shining stars. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead, surrounded by hundreds of gopis, and decorated with flower garlands and many colors, began to wander within the Vrindavan forest, sometimes singing to himself and sometimes singing with the gopis. In this way the Lord of the Gopis reached the cool sandy bank of the Jamuna, where there were water lilies and lotus flowers. In such a transcendental atmosphere, the gopis and Krishna began to enjoy one another. While they were walking on the bank of the Jamuna, Krishna would sometimes put his arm around the gopis' head, breast or waist, pinching one another and joking and looking at one another. They enjoyed. When Krishna touched the bodies of the gopis, their lust to embrace him increased. Thus they all enjoyed these pastimes. The gopis were blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for they enjoyed his company without any tinge of mundane sex life. The gopis, however, soon began to feel very proud, thinking themselves to be the most fortunate women in the universe, due to being favored by the company of Krishna. Lord Krishna, who is known as Keshava, could immediately understand their pride caused by their great fortune of enjoying him personally. And in order to show them his causeless mercy and to curb their false pride, he immediately disappeared from the scene, exhibiting his opulence of renunciation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always full of 6 kinds of opulences, and this is an instance of the opulence of renunciation. This renunciation confirms Krishna's total non-attachment. He is always self-sufficient and is not dependent on anything. Thus, this is the platform on which his transcendental pastimes are enacted. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 29th chapter of Krishna, the Rasa Dance introduction. Hare Krishna. Question from Arpan Sengupta. Did the Asuras who were killed by Krishna during his childhood pastimes enter into the spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan? Yes, but they entered in there, but they couldn't stay long. Krishna killed them all. Or enter the spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan. Some did. Most of these demons you can find in different places. They were actually they got that position because of previous activities of but where they actually got the mercy of Krishna. Some were real demons, and some were just taking birth as demons to assist Krishna in his pastime. But on the outskirts of Vrindavan, there is I think it's the Arishta demon, and he's in the shape of a bull, Arishta. And Krishna and his friends are coming there sometimes. And so they start to have fighting with him, mock fighting. And they jump on his back, and they're more or less playing with him. And they say, you can stay here on the outside, you can stay with Nandi, because sometimes Nandi is there, the bull. You can stay on the outskirts, but generally you can't come into Vrindavan. Yeah, so they all get some kind of liberation by being killed by Krishna. They get some kinds of liberation. It's like Agashwara, they saw the spirit soul burst from his head and it entered into the Krishna. So he got liberation into Krishna's body. Whether it was Sayuja or... But anyway, but again they come down and play as different demons like Jai Vijay. They took birth as demons. But this was to assist Krishna in his pastime. So they appeared as different demons, and then finally they had 3 pastimes of playing demons, Jai Vijay. Then after that they took birth in Mayapur, Navadvip, as part of the pastimes of Navadvip. Jarasandha and his minister, I think his minister. But when Jarasandha asked, he asked what's his name? Nawab Hussain Shah. He was the ruler of Bengal. He was an Abyssinian ruler. And Mahaprabhu, when he went to Ramkeli, he attracted thousands of people to come with him. So the Nawab Hussain Shah said, who is this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And then, he's just some mendicant, a little bit fanatical, dancing and chanting. He's got a few followers, nothing serious, nothing. So Nawab Hussain Shah said, no, I think he must be God, because I have to pay all my men, all my armies, and I have to maintain them all and pay them all. But he's got thousands of men following him. He's not paying any of them. So I think he must be God. Anyway, the idea is at least he accepted God in that birth as Nawab Hussain Shah. He recognized that he was the Supreme Person of God. So that was his last birth as Jai Vijay. Then they went back to Vaikuntha planet, liberation back into Vaikuntha. Thank you. Papanchang Gupta, Hare Krishna. If Krishna comes here in the Dwapara Yuga, did he leave his Goloka Dham? Yes, he had to leave to perform these pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka. So he had to leave, but he leaves Vrindavan in the form of Vasudev Krishna. This Vrindavan Krishna never takes one step outside of Goloka, Vrindavan. He never takes one step. But sometimes it's necessary for him to execute his mission of killing the demons and establishing the devotees. So when he leaves Vrindavan, he does so in the form of Vasudev. So he goes to Mathura and Dwarka, and he has the association with the Jadu dynasties because they want to treat him as their friend, their cousin, like that. So to give them pleasure, then he leaves Vrindavan in the form of Vasudeva and goes to Dwarka and Mathura. His presence was needed there to perform that, the activity of the Yuga Dharmas. So Krishna, as the avatar, he leaves in the form of Vasudeva. And simultaneously, he's there in Goloka also. Why people of other yugas go to Vrindavan if liberated? Why don't they go to Goloka Vrindavan if liberated? Why do the people of other yugas go to Vaikuntha if liberated? Why do not they go to Goloka Vrindavan if liberated? Well, Goloka is very, very confidential. Very confidential, so not many people. And this Krishna only comes once in the day of Brahma. That's an awful long time. But only once, Krishna comes once in every day of Brahma on the 28th millennium. And on that incarnation or appearance, he's the avatar, Krishna, the original personality of Godhead. He comes, he is not avatar, he is avatar he. And he performs his Vrindavan pastimes like we're hearing, these wonderful pastimes. So it's very, very confidential. And you've got to be around on the 28th day of Lord Brahma, at this tiny little period of that day that Krishna comes and performs his Braja pastimes. So then Krishna's if they're fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee of Vrindavan, then it's very, very rare that the people even get to hear of it. Because all the other days of Krishna's appearance in every other yugas, Krishna he's not exactly the same Krishna he is. Krishna is there, Vrindavan is there, Jasoda is there, Radharani is there. But these are manifestations coming through the Kiradakshayi Vishnu. The different avatars, Yuga avatars, they come through the agency of Kiradakshayi Vishnu. So generally most of these incarnations of Krishna in Dwapara Yuga, in the day of Brahma, are incarnations of their incarnations. So of Kiradakshayi Vishnu. But when the original Krishna comes, he's the avatari, he's the source of all avatars. He doesn't come through the agency of Kiradakshayi Vishnu. He comes directly from Vrindavan and shows his pastimes. Because in Dwarka, he asked everyone to surrender to me, sarvadanam parityaja mamikam. But he saw that was very difficult, so again, after that, in the Kali Yuga, he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said, I'll teach you how to surrender, how to become a devotee. You find it very difficult to surrender, to become a devotee, so I'll come personally and show you how I look like, what my activities do. I will show you everything. So I will come and simultaneously I will spread the Yuga Dharma of chanting Hare Krishna. So that's the direct incarnation of Krishna, not incarnation. He's the source of all incarnations. But he comes only that one very rare period. So if you are fortunate to be around at that time, that is a very good fortune. We were around, Prabhupada was around, and that made our good fortune. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. It's interesting here. Krishna is the gopis there coming to see Krishna as a parama, as a lover. And Varikiya Rasa is being exhibited. They've left their husbands, etc. like that. They want to join Krishna's dancing party. And this is Varikiya Rasa. They go to see Krishna, he calls them on the flute, they go to see him, then he says, you've come to see the beauty of the forest, okay, nice, now you can go back home, please go back home. He started to discourage them to go back home. And then the gopis say to him, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we have come to take shelter of you. You are that Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're admitting there, this actually seems like a rasabas, because they're not supposed to be. Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not supposed to be. He's their lover. He's not God. They'll have to approach God in all awe and reverence, but this is not their approach. They want to embrace Krishna. They want to kiss Krishna. So why do the gopis are saying you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead? This is a rasabhas. It's against the mellows of the rasa. To have God in the picture, He's not there. God can't do such things like this, immoral activities like that. He's always worshipped on high. So you can't treat God as a parama like that, but the gopis they do. And they're having that relationship. But there they say, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why is that? It's a rasabhas. Krishna is their lover. The idea is that because when they were talking to Krishna and he was talking to them, the feeling of a separation was so imminent that they thought Krishna is definitely going to leave and tell us to leave and go back, and he will go. And because of the imminent feeling of separation from Krishna, then they did not hesitate to say that you are the Supreme Person. Anything just to get Krishna, Krishna shouldn't go back home that night. He should stay in the forest with them. Anything that can somehow or another bring us to Krishna, then won't hesitate to use it. So even they call Krishna address Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That was in the mood of separation. Whatever it takes, Krishna is our lover, He'll always be our lover and nothing else. Whatever it takes, even if we have to transgress the tattva and say that Krishna is the personality of Godhead. So, anyway, out of their anxiety or fear of immediate separation, the imminent separation, then they address Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But of course, again it was covered by Yoga Maya, and they thought, no, Krishna is our lover, so let us be everlastingly loved by you, Krishna. So Krishna was very compassionate, and he allowed them to continue in their dancing, rasa dance activities at night time on the banks of the Jamuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is chapter 30. Krishna's hiding from the gopis. So the gopis were feeling a little bit proud that Krishna, he's accepted us and we're dancing. It's so fortunate. Who else in the three worlds could have such a fortunate situation? And we're so lucky to be able to wander in the forest with Krishna at night time with all your gopi friends. Feeling a little bit proud. So Krishna, he doesn't like to see any pride in his devotees. So he saw a little bit of pride was manifested. Why shouldn't they be proud? They're the most fortunate women in the world. But anyway, Krishna, he wanted to show that, curb that pride. He disappeared from their midst all of a sudden. And he hides from the gopis to see their different emotional states that they have for Krishna. So Krishna is relishing their love for him, their emotional state of existence. And Krishna is relishing. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feature. He has assumed the form of Radha, the sentiments of Radha, color of Radha, to experience these different sentiments of the devotee's love for Krishna. Not Krishna's love for the gopis, but the gopis' love for Krishna. So this was Mahaprabhu's mission. His main mission. The secondary mission was to establish the Yuga Dharma, but his main mission was to enjoy it. He would relish his devotees. The love his devotees have for him. How much love they have for him. What is they're experiencing when they're loving him. So Krishna is experiencing all these through his greatest devotee Radharani in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna is there. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya. Radha Krishna, they have become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now he is experiencing his love of his devotees. Krishna is hiding from the gopis. When Krishna suddenly disappeared from the company of the gopis, they began to search for him everywhere. After not finding him anywhere, they became afraid and almost mad after him. They were simply thinking of the pastimes of Krishna with great love and affection. Being absorbed in thoughts of him, they experienced loss of memory, and with dampened eyes, they saw the very pastimes of Krishna. His beautiful talks with them, his embracing them, kissing, and other activities. Being so attracted to Krishna, they imitated his dancing, his walking, his smiling, as if they themselves were Krishna. Due to Krishna's absence, they all become crazy. Each one of them told the others that she was Krishna himself. Soon they all assembled together and chanted Krishna's name very loudly as they moved from one part of the forest to another, searching for him. Actually, Krishna is all pervasive. He's in the sky, he's in the forest, he's in the heart. He is always everywhere. The gopis therefore began to question the trees and the plants about Krishna. There are various types of big trees and small plants in the forest, and the gopis addressed them. Dear banyan tree, have you seen the son of Nanda Maharaj passing this way, laughing and playing on his flute? He has stolen our hearts and gone away. If you have seen him, kindly inform us which way he has gone. Dear Ashoka tree, the Anaga flower tree and the Champaka flower tree. Have you seen the younger brother of Balaram pass this way? He has disappeared due to our pride. The gopis were aware of the reason of Krishna's sudden disappearance. They could understand that when they had been enjoying Krishna, they thought themselves to be the most fortunate women within the universe. And since they were feeling proud, Krishna had disappeared immediately, just to curb their pride. Krishna does not like his devotees to be proud of their service to him. He accepts everyone's service, but he does not like one devotee to consider himself better than other devotees. If sometimes there are such feelings, Krishna ends them by changing his attitude towards the devotee. The devotees then address the Tulsi plant. Dear Tulsi, you are very much beloved by Lord Krishna because your leaves are always at the lotus feet. Dear Malati flowers, dear Malika flower, dear jasmine flower, and all of you must have been touched by Krishna while he was passing this way after giving us transcendental enjoyment. Have you seen Madhava passing this way? Or a mango tree? Have you seen the tree of jackfruit, pear trees and ashana trees, or blackberries and bale trees, and trees of the kadamba flower? You are all very pious trees to be living on the bank of the Jamuna. Krishna must have passed through this way. Will you kindly tell us which way he has gone? The gopis then looked upon the ground. They were traversing and began to address the earth. Dear earthly planet, we do not know how many penances and austerities you have undergone to be now living with the footprints of Lord Krishna upon you. You are very jolly. The hairs on your body are these jubilant trees and plants. Lord Krishna must have been very pleased with you. Otherwise, how could he have embraced you in the form of Raha, the boar? When you were submerged in water, he delivered you by taking the whole weight of your existence on his tusks. After addressing the innumerable trees and plants and earth, they turned their faces towards the beautiful deers. They turned their faces towards the beautiful deer, who were looking at them very pleasingly. It appears, they addressed the deer, that Krishna, who is the Supreme Narayan himself, must have passed through this way along with his companion Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Otherwise, how is it possible that the aroma of his garland, which is smeared with the red kumkum from the breast of the goddess of fortune, it can be perceived in the breezes blowing here? It appears they must have passed through this way and touched your bodies, and thus you are feeling very pleasant and are looking towards us with sympathy. Will you kindly therefore inform us which way Krishna has gone? Krishna is the well-wisher of Vrindavan. He is as kind to you as us. Therefore, after leaving us, he must have been present in your company. O fortunate trees, we are thinking of Krishna, the younger brother. We are thinking of Krishna, the younger brother of Balaram. While passing through here, with one hand resting on the shoulder of the goddess of fortune, and the other hand twirling a lotus flower, he must be very pleased to have accepted your obeisances, and he must have glanced over you with great pleasure. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Milk and Krishna Pukki Jai. Milan Madhav Das, Hari Bol Milan. please explain when the gopis came to the Lord, defying social obstructions, why did Lord ask them to go back to their family responsibilities? Well, Prabhupada said in the purport that Krishna wasn't being sarcastic. He wasn't just playing with the gopis and being sarcastic, oh, you can't come, it's dead of night. Prabhupada said the instructions are actually very good, very important. Proper behavior should be there, but of course Krishna why Shukadeva Goswami says that this shows Krishna's complete independence, that how he can do exactly as he wants, when he wants, how he wants. He is completely free to do anything and everything. So Shukadeva Goswami asked, or Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadeva Goswami, and the answer, the Shukadeva Goswami said, the answer is simply to show, it's simply a testimony of Krishna's powers, how he is that Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how he is completely independent and free. This is a testimony to Krishna's greatness, that he was able to do that. Nobody else can do that but Krishna. They may imitate, but they cannot expand themselves into 16,108 Krishnas like Krishna did. Okay, so imitation is there. So Krishna says these things, and he also performs these things. He does these things, and he says, I am God, and he performs them. Other people may claim to be God, that's okay, but can you prove it? Can you show Vishwarup? Can you expand yourself 16,000 Krishna human being? You cannot do that. So Shukadeva Goswami, this simply testifies to Krishna's great power, that he was able to transgress all these laws. He is the lawmaker, he is the lawbreaker. So he was able to transcend. This is Krishna's greatness. Thank you, Minna Madhav. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Krishna Book and Milk ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Go Premanandi. Hare Hare Bol. Krishna 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 Hey. I thought you were sitting here in Ilamada for a moment. Just like you appeared here. I guess you're in your house, huh?